Darren Caldeira is on the Tommy Sandu podcast. Darren is a football commentator and broadcaster, former football Indian player, and we all know as even being British Asian, British Indian, is you're just waiting. We're all waiting for that moment where an Indian footballer can reach the heights that we're seeing other Asian footballers reach. Players all across the Premier League. I'm thinking of, someone like Son from Spurs, who is respected and loved, and players from all over the world are now making it in the Premier League and making it on global football levels. Why hasn't it happened? Why hasn't it happened for an Indian star just yet? And Darren is someone who will know. He's absolutely connected to the sport, loves the game, has been through the training regimes and the ranks himself. So we had a nice little chat about that. Himself, mental well-being. This is someone that you should know about. It's the brilliant sports broadcaster and journalist, Darren Caldeira, on the Tommy Sandu podcast. Enjoy. Mr. Caldeira, welcome to the podcast. How are you, sir? You well?
Thanks for that lovely bit of enthusiasm. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Oh, that's nothing. Oh, I'm actually toning down my enthusiasm because I'm with a footballer. I know how you guys keep it minimal. I see the interviews after matches. Footballers like to convey all their excitement like this, and they talk like this the whole time. Yeah, we gave it 110%. At the end of the day, it's a team effort, and we'd give it all we got. Why do they do that? Why don't they go, oh man, did you see my goal? What? Why don't they do that? Are you told not to do that? Are you told to kind of be a bit more humble about things?
I mean, a lot of footballers are humble. If you get to know them personally, I mean, the lives look very flashy. Yes, a lot of them. But if you get to know a lot of them, though, they're very simple guys, just family men, I would say. And yeah, I don't think anyone's told you can just react the way you want to. But there's certain things you should be saying and not be saying, of course, on camera. But yeah, it's just one of those things.
But I do like it when you get cheeky comments from the footballers or even the managers after a game. It's nice when, I think it's really nice when you see people like Klopp and Klopp in particular. I mean, I'm not a Liverpool fan at all, but I do enjoy what Klopp's going to say. Like I always enjoyed what Mourinho was going to say. That it's nice that you get these characters coming through, and that for you as a broadcaster in the game, a game that you love. That must make it a little bit more exciting when you go, okay, what's he going to come out with?
No, exactly. Of course, you want to ask your football questions and discuss football, but then there's always, it's great for TV, right? At the end of it. So you want some of those cheeky comments, you want a couple of tidbits, things that probably the audience don't know about. And yeah, Klopp is one of them. When you talk about broadcast as well, I love listening to Roy Keane. I'm a United fan myself, and I look at Roy Keane. Sometimes I think he's a little too critical, maybe, but it's nice. It's good to watch. Yeah.
He strikes fear into me. I think if I had Roy Keane in my family, I think everybody who lives in that house with Roy Keane should be weary. It's like there's a lion sitting over there. You'd be aware of it. Like it's Roy Keane. And that must be nice though now, because you're at the stage in your career. You're looking at the game, from your perspective, and it's a global game. I know that the English leagues, I would still say is the most exciting league in the world. But are you following all world football, or do you kind of home in on certain leagues that interest you?
I mean, at the end of it, because you love football, right? So you generally tend to watch a lot of games, but I watch a lot of the Premier League for sure, because I'm a United fan, and Premier League is something that I follow a lot. Then you have your occasional leagues in, probably because now since Messi has moved to PSG, you want to watch a little bit of League One. Then there's obviously your Bundesliga teams like your Bayern Munich and Dortmund, who you like to follow. So yeah, there's a little bit of leagues here and there that you want to watch every now and then, but the Premier League is one of the top ones. And of course, I work with the Indian Super League, the Hero ISL right now. So that's a league I follow very, very closely because I need to watch every single game and figure out what everyone's up to basically.
So if you don't mind, educate me. Where is it? Where are we at with the ISL? Where is the Indian Soccer League at? And And when and I'm sorry, I'm going to just hit straight with that question, that the billion rupee question that everyone wants to know is, when are we going to get that the Messi of India, the Ronaldo of India, and or because you've got your ear and eye so close to it, you're like, man, we are not far away. That's kind of what I want to hear. Where are we at?
I mean, I'm sure, like every single Indian wants to hear that. I get this question a lot of times. When is India going to play in a World Cup, for example? And I think we're far off that. We're way behind the teams in Europe in terms of just about in terms of facilities and technical abilities and qualities of that sorts. But I think we need to focus on trying being better against the Asian teams first. We need to work on grassroots and things like that. Try matching up to teams like Iran and South Korea, who are doing really well in Asia right now. So yeah, it is going to take a while, Tommy. I won't deny that, but I feel we are taking steps forward, baby steps, I would say. It is going to take time, but I hope in years going forward we would see the Indian national team and probably a couple of footballers as well. You never know, apply their trade in the Premier League, and Manchester United more than any other team for me.
Look, you've mentioned Man United now 3 times. I let it go the first 2 times, but okay, now, no, I was being nice because we've only just started, but now I feel like we are 5 minutes into the podcast. We're moving on to the next stage of our relationship, which is me telling you that Ole has to go. What's the deal? Is Solskjaer capable of the job? Everyone talks about, oh, we got Ole at the wheel. And I've seen all the memes about what he's like at the wheel. Is this manager up to the task? Does he need to go?
I mean, unfortunately, he has gone. They have relieved him of his duties. But I got to say, you got to give the guy credit. I think he came, at a point, joined the club when there wasn't really any sort of stability. I think post Ferguson, we've had a few managers. I think Moyes was a bit unlucky. I don't think he got enough of time at the club. You had Van Gaal, you had Mourinho. And I feel like the club was kind of regressing in terms of the football being played and in terms of what the club stood for. And I felt like Solskjaer got a bit of, a bit of positivity back in the club. There was a bit of optimism as well. I think he's brought a sort of a balance to the squad. But yes, the last month or so has been horrible for him, and there are no excuses. I mean, when you're managing a club, one of the biggest clubs in the world. You don't get enough of time. You probably get a couple of games, sometimes a couple of months to prove your mettle. And I don't think he was really ready for this task. It is a big job, and unfortunately, it hasn't really worked out for him so far.
No, it has. So, but you've been Man U die hard all your life? Is this your club since you were a boy?
Yeah, since I was a kid, I remember watching, the final, the '99 final. I remember the extra time winners, Teddy Sheringham, Solskjaer. I mean, I remember watching that, and I was like, wow. And I was fortunate to have Teddy Sheringham as my manager for a season when he came to the Indian Super League, and that was amazing. And I was kind of starstruck, to be honest, because I've been watching this guy on television, and then suddenly he's your manager. So that was lovely. But yeah, I'm a United supporter through and through.
Now, when you get a manager from the UK, what does that do to an Indian squad? Because when I think about what maybe is needed or what the next steps are, and the game, all sport now is so global. You look at what's happened with the IPL as well. Surely with the ISL, that we need that international involvement into Indian teams. What does that bring to the squad when you're all there and Teddy Sheringham's there? How does that change the way people are training and playing?
No, of course, because if you watch Teddy Sheringham, we've all seen him play at the highest level, right? So he comes with a certain sort of respect, and he expects certain standards at the same time. So when you have your training sessions, he wants the levels to be the highest possible, right? He demands a lot from you, and I think it's great for Indian clubs to have managers and even ex-professionals. You have a lot of footballers as well, because when we had Teddy Sheringham, we had Roy Keane as well. Roy Keane was my teammate, so it was great having that sort of a character in the dressing room. So you want players who played at the highest level. You want managers who've been there. You want them coming to the Indian Super League, because they kind of improve the standards, and I think that's what's required right now in Indian football.
Yeah. And what does that just literally mean? Train harder, work tougher? Because there's one thing I know about Indian coaches is they don't take it easy on their guys. I mean, there's still that pressure is there, but I'm just trying to work out what how the international coach influence would be different from the domestic ones.
I feel like the international coaches definitely bring try to improve players. I think when it comes to their technical abilities and also like just awareness on the pitch, these simple things. I think when it comes to hard work, I think Indian footballers are like hard workers. I think that's just a given. Like if you can make them run, you can really make them work hard on the field, which is great. I think where we lack is probably the technical abilities and just that sort of that half a second that's required, to make that decision slightly quicker. I think that's where we lack. And with players and managers coming from outside who've had experience in Spain and England, and I think with them coming in and with their expertise, I think it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I remember being in Rio. I went for Carnival years ago, and I saw like 6, 7, 8-year-old kids doing keepy uppy with an empty plastic bottle, which is obviously not evenly weighted, and they could do it. Would keep it up. They're hitting it on every little angle. And then the same way when you go through India, you see kids with cricket bats playing with anything, any kind of stick, any kind of bat. Does that kind of street level of football need to happen in India for us to find more talent or get behind the sport even more so? I know it's on the rise and it's growing rapidly and it's super popular and the Premier League's popular, but what I'm trying to work out where it's got to go back to, not just the training camps, almost beyond. Have we got to change the culture here or what?
Definitely, because I mean, if you look at Indian sport right now, like cricket is just topping it all. There's so much of money, there's so much of everything involved in and invested in cricket at the moment. So it's always going to be difficult to kind of topple cricket for football to become the number one sport. Just recently, I heard that out of 200 odd countries that come under FIFA, I think 190 of them have football as their first sport, and India is not one of them. So it's always going to be difficult, because there's a lot of money in cricket. It's not the same with football. So, it's just like I said, baby steps. You got to be optimistic. You got to try and do the right things. You got to work on grassroots. You got to work on the youth teams, and that's the only way forward.
Yeah, and I agree. I think by taking the small steps, you can achieve anything. Even playing the ukulele. I saw you taking baby steps on the ukulele. What is this? Is this the new you, Darren? What's going on here?
Yeah, the new and improved Darren Caldeira 2.0, I would say. But nah, it's just something. I had a couple of friends who play the ukulele, and I've always been very intrigued by the instrument. And I was also told it's a much easier instrument to learn. So I was like, we've been having a couple of lockdowns the last couple of years. So I was just like, listen, I need to get a ukulele. I need to get on a few lessons. And you never know. I could form a professional footballer and currently a rock star. You never know.
Well, sport is about rhythm and timing and connecting. Being a musician is very similar. And where are you living now? Where are you at this moment?
At this moment, I'm in Goa in a bio bubble, working with the Hero Indian Super League. Yes.
See. So come on, I'm picturing your ukulele on the beach. A little football next to you as well. You do a little keepy uppy with the ukulele. It could be a whole new thing. That lends itself quite well, doesn't it? Like music, sport, being by the beach. Is this part of your well-being nature? Is this part of your kind of mental state?
Yeah, I mean, I love winding. Just sometimes winding the day or just relaxing, doing these things, listening to music, watching a couple of movies, getting on the ukulele every now and then. And yeah, if you have a beach right next to you, that's just perfect, right? I mean, unfortunately, we are in a bio bubble. Like I said, we're not allowed to. It's just from the hotel room to your studio and back. So we can't really move around and things like that. But the beach is nearby. It's just knowing that it's a couple of meters away is just a nice feeling.
Oh man, I bet. And are you there on your own? Is it with the family? Who shares your bio bubble?
So it's just me right now, along with, of course, you have the entire crew from the Hero Indian Super League. You got people from Star Sports as well, the broadcast people, and it's just everyone working on the league in a bubble.
See, okay, I'm always interested in like you're a bloke, right? I'm a bloke. We're all blokes, just kind of just going about our business. It's hard enough. Surely it must have been hard enough just getting into the sport of football. Particularly, I know every year it's getting a little bit. I suppose the doors are opening a bit more. The awareness of the game is growing in India. But when you were doing it as well, particularly from a kid, training, you're well ahead of the game there. How tough was that to try to go to pursue a dream when even more so everyone's like, oh, well, why don't you just pick up a cricket bat? You're good at sport, that kind of thing. I mean, you must have faced all of that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, growing up, I would say like, yeah, I thought I was half decent at cricket. Never good enough to probably play professional, but yeah, there's always questions, especially with football. Because when I was growing up, you never really looked as football as a profession. A lot of people, I had questions being like, okay, you're playing football, and like they always thought it was a sort of a passion, and I was probably doing a 9 to 5 on the side. But yeah, there were questions asked, and the thing was, I'll just be honest with you, Tommy. I wasn't good at anything else, to be honest. I was just half decent at football, and I was like, okay, let me just go ahead with this, and I'm just grateful that things worked out for me.
No, but then I think you've got to have that training in you. I remember Frank Lampard. I did something where they did this scheme to try and encourage Asians get into sport at Chelsea Football Club, and they asked me to come along and just kind of, if I'm honest, just be the idiot. I don't play sport on that level. I'm no good at football or anything at any remote level. I was never picked on the team at school. I was picked on, but not picked for the team. But I remember Lampard saying it was 30% ability and 70% graft. How much you're willing to put in. So were you always a hardworking sports person?
Always. I would always say I was very, 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 very hardworking on the good days and the bad days. It's never, and I'll be honest with you. I felt like I wasn't like a footballer who was gifted with a lot of technical abilities, but there's no one could question my attitude and and the hours and hard work I would put in. So I think that's where I see that in a lot of Indian footballers as well. A lot of footballers are willing to put in the hard yards. And it's just good to see, because at the end they say, oh, there's no substitution for hard work and things like that, and I do agree with a lot of it, because you can have a lot of abilities on the field, you can be really great at passing the ball and things like that, but if you're not willing to put in the work, it's not going to work for you.
And that's, again, I think that's what's so amazing about sports people and athletes. It's why they are inspirational figures. I always love it when a team's 4-0 down, it's the 88th minute, and I still see the losing team's attackers, defenders, or whatever, just still going for it. I think it's that is inspirational. It's that mindset. But again, we're in this culture of kind of this prima donna thing where heads drop, moods drop. The kind of the guy that you are, the sports person that you are, it's such a big part of being a great sports person. But yet it's not really related to the actual technical ability.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of footballers, for that matter, a lot of sportsmen, exactly. I think they're just built differently when it comes to that mental strength, because they've seen so many adversities, especially in sport in India, because it's not been easy for a lot of sportsmen. If you look at stories of people who've represented India on the, for the Olympics, for that matter, or things like that, athletes who won medals, it's been, if you actually go back and look at their story and how they've started training, and how they've not had basic meals. I'm not even talking about facilities, I'm just talking about basic meals and things like that. They're struggling with those sort of things, but to come out of that and still represent the country at the highest levels and still win medals is just commendable. And I think that's something that you'll find with a lot of Indian athletes, especially. And sportsmen are just really, really tough here, because they've seen a lot, been through a lot. They don't come from great families, so just basic equipment or just basic training facilities are not easily available. So just hats off to every single person who takes up sport in the country.
Yeah, in a weird way, do you not think the best sports persons, and in football as well, and I see it here as well, with the players, that some of the greatest players in the Premier League are the ones that come from, dare I say it, kind of like not broken families, but maybe families that have undergone hardship. It almost takes that hardship at a young age to make someone great. That it feels unfair that's the only way you can achieve. It's a way to achieve it, but it does mold a person, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely does. Because I'm just I'm giving you examples of people in and around me. I'd say I had a pretty decent upbringing and things like that. But a lot of my teammates who I've seen around have come from pretty much nothing. A lot of them, and I'm just so glad to see them do well right now in Indian football. And it has been super hard. Like I've heard of stories where they had to walk a couple of miles just to get a bucket of water, for example. Stories like that. It's crazy if you hear some of them back home in India. But then again, that's where you get that mental strength and that grit, and things never phase them. Any sort of pressure, any like tomorrow they're out injured, or it could be they're having the worst patch of form. But these sort of things don't really affect them as much as it would just affect any other person.
So where do you stand on this kind of new wave that's coming through where, everyone's a lot more protected? There's no real offense that can be caused. You have to be very careful about language that you use. That because I almost worry that I think it's great that we're becoming more aware of other people's feelings, of course, and the last thing anyone wants to do is hurt anybody's feelings. But by protecting them from that, are we not allowed? It's like our kids. It's like you're not allowing them to fall and grow.
Yeah, I mean that's a very there's I guess there's just a thin line there. Like I mean, where do you? It's one of those difficult ones, to be honest, Tommy. It's just about, yeah. Like I mean, tomorrow if I have I have a kid, I'm going to just be like, send him out in the open and let him just face life. You got to protect him, of course. But yeah, you want him to also see the real life outside as well. So it's just about finding the right balance, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'm always struggling with that balance. That's all. Sometimes I feel like I'm being too hard on my kid, and then I feel like I'm being too soft on him. And then you work hard because you want to make it easy for them, and then you don't want to make it too easy for them, and you want to kind of and end up being a bit of an arsehole about it. And I'm like, oh no, I took that too far. Yeah, so it's always a juggle. So what's it about for you? So you've played this game at a very high level. You love your sport. You're now a journalist for it. What's keeping you going, Darren? What keeps you ticking along through life? Is it the kids and the family, or is there a bigger thing than that?
Well, I don't have kids at the moment, but I have a beautiful wife, and I would just say, I mean, my love for the sport, I guess, is just something that's just got me involved. Still, in spite of retiring from the sport, I feel like I still have a lot to offer to the sport. I've done a few of my coaching badges as well, but I don't think I'm ready to get into management yet. But I feel like there's a lot I can offer outside of the field. So yeah, to be honest, I just take one day at a time. I don't have real aspirations or ambitions where I want to see myself 10 years from now. That may sound a little silly, but I take it one day, each day as it comes. And of course, I keep having chats with my wife, and at the end, she's the boss. So yeah, we try to figure out how life goes, and yeah, hopefully it just goes smooth.
So is she in Goa with you then? Will she be with you now?
No, unfortunately, she's back home in Bombay because she has her work as well, and she does a bit of traveling. So it's difficult for us because once she's here in a bio bubble, she can't really step out. So yeah, it's just me here.
It's hard. It must be hard being married to a footballer, living away. Again, I'm saying this, it's not the same with me, but I'm off. I'm broadcasting. I was covering the T20 World Cup. I'm in Dubai for several weeks, leaving the wife here, and we've got 2 kids as well. So, we have inconsistent lives. This isn't you're not a typical Indian boy, with a 9 to 5 or a 8 to 7, whatever the hours are that people work in India now. It's random, and here you are pursuing your dream and your passion, which again isn't the typical way to do things.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely hard because you have your days where you just want to sit back, just chill with the family, probably just have a conversation and watch a movie, and you can't do those things. And a bio bubble is hard. Hats off to the league guys here because it's the second season running that we're doing it in a bio bubble, and it's really hard on the people working as well because you're away from the family for around 4 to 5 months, and there's a lot of work involved. But at the end of it, I mean, the situation in India wasn't the best, so you got to take those precautions and have to go ahead with it, because that's the only way we're going to get to watch football.
Yeah. And I think people are quick to kind of say, oh, well, they get paid, they get in work, they're in a bar bubble, they're in hotels, or they're in, there he is, he's by the beach in Goa. But it's lonely, isn't it? It must be, it's a lonely place.
It is. There are days, especially on the off days, I think, because otherwise there's just a lot of work. Even on your day offs, there's, your prep work and things like that. But, there's nothing better than just coming home to your family, right? I mean, but yeah, it's work at the end. You got to do it. And I just hope going forward, the situation gets better in the country. It is looking better when it comes to COVID. And hopefully this is the last time that we will have the league in a bio bubble and everyone's going to be happy.
Yeah. Do you mind me asking, were your family and everybody okay through COVID, and mums and dads and people like that, the elders in the family?
Thank you so much for asking that. Yeah, everyone's doing great. My family, my wife's family as well. Just everyone's doing great. Even my friends and things like that. No one's been really affected. So, but there have been a lot of people, around in the country who've had it bad. So, my thoughts and prayers go out to all of them. And yeah, we just hope for better days.
It's really nice to know that the family are all well. Again, it's hard for your parents not to see you, surely, as well, because you're away from them. And so, what's your sibling makeup? Brothers, sisters? What have you got?
Yeah, I've got a sister, and she's based in New Zealand, been there for the longest time, and she's doing well. They've been in a lockdown as well. I mean, but she's been telling me it's, they have a couple of cases, and the whole entire country goes into a lockdown. So it's quite hard there as well. But yeah, as long as everyone's safe and healthy, that's the most important thing right now.
Yeah, but I think you get to an age and phase in your life when you realize your parents need you. You kind of grow up all your life relying on them, and then you're away and you hear about mum this or dad that, and you're like, I'm not there. I can't do it. I can't be there for you.
Yeah, I mean, it has been hard, of course, because my mom's back home, and the good thing is my wife is there as well, only I would say half hour away, so that helps. And I've got a few really good friends, I would say, who live in and around my place as well. So, if there's anything required, groceries or something to be dropped off home, or medicines or whatever, they're always happy to help. So that way, this is always a secure feeling,
All right. So would you want to come over here? Would you want to come to the to England and comment on the Premier League here? Is that something that's in the pipeline, part of the Caldeira dream plan? Not that you plan, you're a day-by-day guy, but
Yeah. You never know. I mean, I've been to London for a month on a holiday once, and I absolutely love the place. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about London, so you never know, though, Tommy. I've got your number, so you never know. I could drop a text and be there sometime.
Hey, we're 10 minutes from West Ham. That's where I live in East London. So the London Stadium is up the road. That's my team. So we've not done very well all my life, and only now we can actually say, wow, we're in the top four.
On fire, man.
But if you look at the kind of the goal difference, though, in the league, it's that, the goal difference are massive for Man City and Liverpool and all the rest. And then it drops right down for us because we don't win 4-5-6-0 every time. But it's just not. It's nice to be up there. But it is exciting to be here. So I feel like there's a UK potential calling. If Sky Sports UK picked up the phone, that might tempt you for a game or so, or a season.
Definitely. I mean, you look at the people who've worked with Sky Sports, and some of them. I mean, it would be an absolute pleasure to probably do a game at some point. But yeah, you never know. Like I said, one day at a time.
Okay. Well, if we went to the London Stadium together, I'd have to have you in a West Ham shirt. I couldn't put you in a Man U shirt. You'd have to just fake it. Could you fake it for me, just for one game?
I just wear a white T-shirt or something of that sort, and a jacket over that. So
he's so
jerseys.
He's so loyal. Look, Tommy, I won't go West Ham. I'll just go neutral. Okay, I'll wave the white T-shirt flag, neutral flag. No, awesome. Yeah. Listen, Darren, it's great, and I just think the state of football in India is exciting for me because I'm a believer in things when they're not big. I love the fact that we haven't got even like, let's say the stars that are coming out of Korea and things like that right now, small nations in some respect, but yet they're producing mega stars, and I know it's going to happen, and I want to have these conversations before it happens, because the conversation will change very differently to when that star is discovered. We're about to speak to Saranpreet Singh, who's signed to a German club. I want to say it is not Dortmund, but it's one of the other ones. Bayern Munich. He got signed to Bayern.
Oh, wow.
He's 22 years old, but he's now on loan at another German club. 22 years old, little Sing lad. So Bayern, yes, it is Bayern, and that's exciting. So I feel like that talent is there, but he's 22, and I'm like, we need one who's 16. We need one who's 16.
Yeah.
And then I think, is it going to be a Punjabi goalkeeper? 6'4", ex-kabaddi playing family, or is it going to be a little Bangladeshi kid who's like a little whippet on the pitch? But we've got that. We've got that in our South Asian makeup, haven't we? Give me the hope, Darren, before we wrap this up.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's always good to be hopeful, but you got to be realistic at the same point. But I do see a lot of good young players coming through the ranks of late. You have a lot of 16 and 17-year-olds coming through right now. And I do feel in the next 10 years or so, we're going to see a lot more youngsters coming through. It's just about them making that jump or leap, playing at some point in maybe in Asia, and then probably in Europe at some point. So yeah, you got to be hopeful, fingers crossed, and hopefully see one of the Indian players, playing at the highest level.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll see you in a West Ham shirt soon. Okay, Darren, until next time. Thank you so much for your time, buddy. Cheers for this, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Yep, thank you.
Before you go, have you hit subscribe to the podcast yet? Have you done that? You should. Have you also started following the Tommy Sandhu podcast on social media? That's on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. Do it! Do it. Because then, when those annoying little notifications pop up with the random stuff that you've agreed to let into your life. Okay, delete those. Let some Tommy Sandhu joy in. I'm going to be talking to the good people. I'm going to be having some fun chats. Why not have those on a daily basis and get the notifications as well? All you got to do is hit subscribe and like and follow, and it's free. It's free. It's our favorite word. Asians love free. Say it. It's free. Oh, it feels good. Go on, do it now.